Hi everybody, this is Nathan Chartrand, or the Purple Pansy. I'm making this video because I had the pleasure of making top 8 at the SSG Reign of Jafar release tournament, and unfortunately I wanted to make a video of my first place finish, but that didn't happen. Instead, what happened was I made it to top 8 and I proceeded to lose in the first round. But more interestingly, and the reason for this video, is I did so because I didn't play very well. I made several misplays, several big mistakes, some of them very apparent, some of them not very apparent. So I kind of wanted to walk through these mistakes. One, because I think there's a lot to learn from them as far as how we think about the game when we're in high pressure situations, and also because I think I brought the best deck for that weekend. I know a lot of people are going to be looking at the deck list, but seeing that I did lose the series, and I want to defend the deck a little bit because I think I let the deck down. I think as a player, I could have been significantly better, and I think this deck has legs to work in this meta and to succeed. So let's look at these mistakes that I made. I'm going to be hopping around a bit. First one is during game 1, which was a loss. Pretty good board state in game 1. I've got the Piglet questing.
Yeah, and it's crazy to see this. Here we go. So we're starting to pluck away. So Piglet, poop Piglet, gone.
And this is kind of the first mistake. This was actually pointed out to me by someone else because I was kind of blind to it a bit. Normally, we want to put a damage on the beast so that we can stop the draw. I, against green steel, am in full kind of monkey brain, go fast, don't just ignore everything and turn sideways mode. But I do know that challenging for the board needs to happen. That's why I played Pegasus turn 1 against green steel quite often, because if a Diablo ends up getting shifted down and doesn't kill the Pegasus right away with a Storm Rage on or something like that, I can use Little Tramp, I can do a Shift Peg later, I can do a Just-in-Time Cricky to kill the Diablo. So sometimes you have to challenge for the board. One of those situations is when you see a beast and he's going to continue to draw, you should probably take away the draw engine. And in this deck, I'm also looking at a lady right now, 2 ladies in fact, big shift ladies, which means that even if the Ursula dies, to putting a damage on beast, I can get it back later with the big ladies. Instead, I am in full quest mode. I'm putting down cards. I actually accidentally tried to quest with the wet card here and instantly noticed, oh wait, I just played that. But the turning sideways and letting beasts continue to draw in this game would definitely end up coming back to bite me, because Ikaika, who's a great opponent, would end up drawing a lot of great cards as the game went on from this beast. Next one we're going to go to is in the same game. I know a lot of people are going to make a big deal about the last mistake that we get to, but really I think a lot of these other plays are even larger mistakes. And this one is a huge one. This one single-handedly, I think, actually lost game 1. I have a pretty good board here. I'm going to do a shift lady play. I don't see just-in-times for this entire series, but I'm going to do the shift lady play here. And this lady was played the previous turn, so the shift lady is going to come in. She's going to be dry. She's going to be able to quest. And I don't realize that. My mindset at this point, I honestly thought that I had played the lady before. I don't know why I thought that. Just brain fog or blinded by the fact that I'm on stream. I think the most unfortunate thing about this game is that I would end at 18 lore, which is a pretty big tragedy. Both the casters and the chat here have a moment where they say, oh, maybe he's setting up a Rapunzel bomb. No, I'm not setting up a Rapunzel bomb. I don't actually even care about a Rapunzel bomb here. I just didn't quest. It wasn't strategic. It wasn't me with a big brain play. I just didn't realize that she could quest and just totally missed it. Let's move on. We have to skip forward a little bit here. It's a big moment. I'm at 17 lore. As they're talking about on commentary, I am hoping to get a Shift Pegasus. I'm also hoping to get my 5-cost Goofy that has Ward, because that will also be a checkmate situation. I draw just in time. Obviously the worst card to draw when you're in top deck mode and there's nothing to play. And I internally am thinking about how much of a bummer it is to draw this card. I'm even laughing about it here on stream, or giving a little smirk about it. And because of that, I end up passing the turn. This is a huge mistake. I think this is... I actually haven't counted what happens here to know if how big of an impact it has. Ikaika might have been able to still win this game. But the fact that I let this happen is almost more egregious than what we'll get to at the end. This just in time needs to leave my hand. And I don't have a character to play it, but I don't need it for the next turn. I have 5 ink. I don't have run any cards that are over 5 ink. So the just in time is not going to do anything for me, even if I draw a 5-cost character the next turn. Like maybe I draw a lady and I can do a just in time lady and play some 2-cost or 1-cost. Yeah, I mean that could happen. But more importantly, I need this Prince John to not draw. I need to play the just in time by itself and put it in my discard so that I'm empty-handed. I realize I put the card down and I pass. I realized this almost instantly after the pass. And you can kind of see it on my face there too. And I even say, I just made a big mistake. Probably shouldn't necessarily give commentary for your opponents to know that you made a big mistake, but I just audibly said that was a mistake. And sure enough, here comes the sudden chill, and Ikaika is going to draw off this, and the card he's going to draw, it is the Strength of Raging Fire. So huge deal. Allows him to double sing and clear both these characters. And now I'm even more trouble. Definitely bad. I don't know if that would have been the be-all end-all, because he would have drawn the Strength of Fire next, and then he did get a Beyond the Horizon, I think, after that. And, you know, the result might have been the same. But that is a serious lapse of judgment, and it happened because I was just thinking about how bad it was that I drew the just in time. That I wasn't thinking about what do I need to do now. I'm also kind of in fantasy land at this moment, where I'm kind of just imagining pulling a Goofy and how great that would be, and just hoping that that'll happen, instead of thinking what I can do with the cards that I'm drawing in reality. And I think that's a huge problem, is wishing and hoping for a card to come off the top is a distraction. You want to deal with the cards that come off the top no matter what they are, and need to be ready to play those cards in the optimal way without being in fantasy land thinking about what you should have drawn. Next one, we get to move quite a while because we're going into the game 3. Luckily, there's not really much to talk about in game 2. That was a pretty easy win because Ikaika did not see what he needed to see, and I saw everything that I needed to see. This is when I was watching this back and thinking about it, I was very aware in game 3 while I was playing that I was playing badly. It was one of those weird moments where, like, you think, like, it is one of those moments where you talk about, like, you make a misplay and you just realize that you're not thinking straight anymore. And I felt like every line I chose in this game was the incorrect choice. But the major issue here is that I have a Piglet, 2 big ladies, and a Kit Cloud Kicker. And whenever a discard is going to come up, I'm going to be discarding the Kit Cloud Kickers instead of the more obvious choices of Piglet, who, guess what, is going to come back to my hand because I'm going to play Lady. If I had the Kit Cloud Kicker in my hand in this game, I feel like I'm in like such a better position. I actually missed the part where I discarded it here. This one, the kit, the card comes back for the discard, but there's a second one that comes up here where I discard the second Kit Cloud Kicker instead of the Piglet, which is definitely a huge error. I don't know why I was keeping that Piglet in hand. Very dumb. Whenever you're being told to discard by green steel and you are playing this big lady, you should be discarding your 2s and 1s because they're going to come back anyways. Moving forward, I do think this entire Shift Lady line was wrong. I think I should have played a Kit Cloud Kicker on the Ursula even before this. Instead of doing the Shift line, instead of doing this challenge play, just because I think the Kit Cloud Kicker line is just kind of better here. Keep the... Instead of doing the Shift Lady and doing the challenge, someone will die eventually, and my ladies will have way more effect if they're pulling cards from the graveyard. But that's more of a minor quibble. There's a lot of minor quibbles we could go into, but they're not nearly as important. And then let's talk about the big one. This is the moment that everybody caught on stream. This is game 3. I miss lethal in this play. In my hand, at this moment, is a Go-Go Tamago, a 1-cost lady, and a little 2-cost tramp. I am at 15 lore. There is lethal on the board. If I ink the lady, the little lady, I will be at 6 ink, which would allow me to play the 2-cost tramp, buffing the Ursula and running the Ursula into the beast. And I would have 4 ink left over to play the Go-Go, get 3 lore off the Go-Go, and then quest with Big Pegasus for the win. At this point in the game, I would say that my level of thinking is what I would call surface level, where I am kind of making decisions on like that first layer of things, like how Lorcana games normally go, instead of trying to think of the game in a deeper way. And I'm thinking in my head that, oh, I could run the Pegasus into Beast and maybe the Ursula, and I could get 4 lore off the Go-Go. And I think about that line, I'm like, no, I think it's better to test whether he has an answer for the Pegasus. I should just turn sideways with the Pegasus and the Ursula, and I should lay all 3 of these down so that he has to deal with them, instead of realizing that the game just ends right then. But I just had a surface level thinking of, I could do the normal Go-Go play, or could play all my cards. And I didn't think about how my cards could win me the game in this moment. I just didn't think that deeply. I didn't think that dynamically. And honestly, at this point in the game, again, I'm in fantasy world. I'm still thinking, if I top deck a Goofy, the game is over. And that's all I can think about right now is, man, I really hope that next card I pull is a Goofy, because that's the checkmate. I've got 3 Goofies in the deck. I inked one earlier. There's still 2 more. It'll come. I don't need the Goofy in this game. I can win with the cards I have. I can live in reality and win the game, but I'm kind of stuck in Fantasyland. And eventually Kaika is able to play masterfully, sweep the board, and the last card I draw, of course, as insult to injury, is going to be the Lone Just in Time, which never saw a single play the entire series. And the funny thing here is that the game's ended. I've resigned. I said the game's over. I turn to the judge, and the judge says, "You missed lethal," and watch my reaction when he explains the lethal to me. We're talking about it. Watch my reaction when he tells me to play. Because I immediately understood that I did have the ink for that.
Yeah, I'm interested in the chat here. I have to go back and do the math because I saw the extra.
I am not happy about this. I'm not happy that I missed something so obvious on stream and in definitely the highest stakes position I've been in Lorcana so far. It's unfortunate. It was a good time still. I'm glad I was able to go as far as I did, and it was fun. But we need to learn from these mistakes. We need to play better. The deck performed incredibly well that entire tournament. Should have won me that best of 3 if I piloted it better. Shout out to Ikaika, because I think Ikaika won that series with suboptimal draws pretty much the entire series, other than he did get a very, very lucky double Strength of a Raging Fire draw off of the Horizon play that he did. Other than that, he was dealing with very tricky hands and made definitely the most of it. But if you want to follow me on Twitter, the Purple Pansy, I've posted the deck list. I'm sure if you go to SSG, you'll see the deck list as well. I feel like the deck list is really well positioned. I feel like I let it down. I think if things get played a little differently, I'd be looking at top 4, top 2, first place. But I need to work on how I'm playing the game and keep the mentality strong. So, yeah, thanks for joining.